Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. We're going to talk about Space Daddy Elon Musk, having second thoughts about buying Twitter. And I think this is probably because of Jack Dorsey. I am Jack smirking revenge. Yeah, Jack Dorsey been talking to Elon Musk about the bot situation, and it is way worse, apparently, than Musk was aware of. Or was he? Was he aware of it the whole time? And he knew that even if he didn't wind up buying Twitter, that he could destroy the site with but a word. Anyway, we're going to talk about this. This is really interesting. The discussion around how real is Twitter. And we know Twitter is not very real. We've done videos on this before, that Twitter's been accused of being at least, 25-30% fake. And now people are speculating it's way more fake than that. And Elon Musk is asking Twitter a lot of tough questions, and they're not giving him very straightforward answers, I'm sure. So we're going to talk about all of this. Geeky sitting this video out. She will be back later tonight or tomorrow. I promise. She's been very busy. She is here in spirit, though. She's been kicking me over a lot of links for this video. In fact, I think she worked on this meme here. Russian bots, and only 1 to 5% of users are fake. Yeah, I thought this was very funny. Anyway, before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, over 267, almost 268,000 subs. Thank you so very much for the support. We do talk about pop culture mainly, but we talk about tech as it intersects with pop culture. And there's a big problem here. Elon Musk was going to buy Twitter. I don't know if he's still going to buy Twitter. We'll see what happens. But he was told by Twitter that only 5% of their users were fake. They were fake, they're phony, they're bots. And that's what he was told. And it turns out that the situation is potentially way worse than he realized, and potentially way worse than any of us realized, that Twitter might be significantly more fake. And if that's the case, then advertisers are getting screwed over. Investors are getting screwed over. Now, this could be a 4D chess move to try to get Twitter cheap. Or it could just be, this was the plan all along, to completely disembowel Twitter, to make them accountable to the shareholders, to the public, to their advertisers, and show that this shit show of a social media website is fake. It's not the real world, as Dave Chappelle has pointed out. And this is in stark contrast to all these stories we've heard over the years. Twitter saying that they're only 5% fake. All these stories, oh my God, Russian bots. Russian bots were responsible for the election. Half of the Twitter accounts calling for reopening America are bots in 2020. They're all bots. As many as 48 million Twitter accounts aren't people, says study, and this was in 2017. What are Twitter bots and how to spot them? Twitter bots are a major source of climate disinformation. I guess if people on Twitter say things you don't agree with, they're bots. As long as they agree with you, they're counted as legitimate accounts, right? And this puts it in perspective right here. Again, Geeky sent this over. What bots? We have like 100 different accounts saying literally the exact same thing or some version of it. And you can fire up a bot and program it to say variations of effectively the same thing. You can set syntax rules, grammar rules. They do this with comment bots all the time, and it could be a handful of people or advertising agencies or whatever, leaving a bunch of comments to get certain things to trend, to try to sway politics, sway public opinion on events. Absolutely. But now Twitter's going to deny that bots are involved. It's only 5% fake, guys, right? And I don't think Elon Musk is buying it. Twitter CEO, I think it's Parag Agrawal, said yesterday, is like, unfortunately, we don't believe that this specific estimation can be performed externally about the number of fake accounts, 5%. or less. Given the critical need to use both public and private information, which we can't share externally, it's not even possible to know which accounts are counted as MDAUs on any given day. Elon Musk says that's bullshit. Poop emoji. So how do advertisers know what they're getting for their money? This is fundamental to the financial health of Twitter. Seems like Twitter should welcome external validation if their claims are true. They should. They should be able to be like, hey, yeah, Twitter is less than 5% fake. You're getting what you paid for there, Elon. Bring in an external auditor, do an audit for yourself. Earlier today, Elon Musk put out another tweet. Twitter claims that more than 95% of daily active users are real, unique humans. Does anyone have that experience? Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. So there's, some crazy stuff going on. This video making the rounds that Project Veritas interviewed. I don't know, is it an interview if it's a sting? I don't know. But they sat down, talked to this guy who's a senior engineer at Twitter. And he basically said, we don't really care about making money at Twitter. All we care about is politics at Twitter. And, we're actively censoring right-leaning personalities, not left-leaning personalities. Very damning interview. But then again, that's par for the course now with Project Veritas. However, this could have been edited. I don't know. They could have just cherry-picked the things that would have made him look the worst. But regardless, the fact that they're coming out and saying, this guy who works for Twitter is coming out and saying, yeah, we totally suppressed the right. Twitter's culture is very far left. He said something about them working only a few hours a week, that activism and quote unquote mental health are more important than making money, that that Twitter literally is full of commies. He said Twitter's full of commies. And if you work for Twitter long enough, you're going to become a commie. So, pretty damning stuff. So where does this leave us with Elon Musk? Well, he might be backing out. I don't know. Or he could just destroy Twitter. He could salt the earth. This is coming from the Hollywood Reporter. Elon Musk, Twitter deal cannot move forward without proof of fake accounts or proof on fake accounts. 20% fake spam accounts, while 4 times what Twitter claims, could be much higher. The Tesla and SpaceX boss tweeted. I think it's more than that. Some people are saying 90%. I don't think it's 90%, but I would be shocked if it was less than 25%, at least. Because I know for years you could buy Twitter followers. A lot of these, celebrity accounts, a lot of these, blue check comic book people, I know for a fact were buying followers. Elon Musk's $44 billion deal to acquire Twitter cannot move forward without proof for a fake accounts estimate previously disclosed by the social media giant. He tweeted on Tuesday, on May 13th. He had said the mega transaction was temporarily on hold, pending details supporting calculation that spam and fake accounts do indeed represent less than 5% of users. That's what they told him. That comment came after a Twitter regulatory filing with the SEC in which the firm estimated how many of its monetizable daily active users, that'd be the MDAU, were false or spam accounts. Twitter reported 229 million users who were served advertising in the first quarter, with 5% of those amounting to 11.45 million. So if they're serving ads to fake users, it could be that advertisers have been getting fucked by Twitter for years. That investors are getting screwed by Twitter too, because investors, are under the impression that Twitter is a lot healthier than it actually is. And again, I blame Jack Dorsey. I think he was ousted from Twitter. I think he's been having conversations with Elon Musk behind the scenes, and he's basically telling Musk, Twitter's a sham. It's a sham. It's a house of cards. And here's how you get it. You get it and fix it, but you get it dirt cheap, or you go scorched earth and you just burn the whole thing down because nobody's going to trust Twitter again by the time you're done. Twitter CEO publicly refused to show proof of less than 5% bots, Musk tweeted on Tuesday. This deal cannot move forward until he does. He also said in his Twitter comments, 20% fake spam accounts, while 4 times higher than Twitter claims, could be much higher. And Musk emphasized that his offer for the social giant was based on Twitter's SEC filings being accurate. They lied. Twitter responded in part by filing a preliminary proxy statement Tuesday in which the company stood by the deal. Twitter is committed to completing the transaction on the agreed price and terms as promptly as practicable. Last month, Musk offered $44 billion to take over Twitter and vowed to end its content moderation. Last week, he disclosed that he had received letters from investors committing $7.14 billion in new financing for his Twitter deal, and was also in talks to bring co-founder Jack Dorsey and others on board as investors. Let me just bring this up. Let's zoom in on this. I am Jack's smirking revenge. I am Jack's smirking revenge. According to the proxy statement filed Tuesday, Dorsey played a large role in Musk's decision to buy Twitter. Of course he did. While fielding an offer to join Twitter's board of directors due to Musk's newly disclosed 9% stake in the company, Musk asked Dorsey for his thoughts on the company. As part of the discussion, Mr. Dorsey shared his personal view that Twitter would be better able to focus on execution as a private company. So very interesting turn of events. Musk is throwing shade at Twitter. This is coming from The Information. Basically it all depends on whether or not Twitter can prove their followers are real. And, the go-to for years has been bots. Bots. It's all bots. Anything we don't like, it's bots. Russian bots, lots of meddling, and now, less than 5%. But we're still growing our user base. When was the last time you talked to a normie on the street and they gave you their Twitter handle? Because normal people don't use Twitter. They use Facebook, maybe not as much as they used to, but grandma's on Facebook. But they don't use Twitter. Normal people do not use Twitter. It's been taken over by activists, the media. It's been used as a PR machine for advertising agencies, PR firms. It's absolutely, positively smoke and mirrors, and it has a very overvalued impact on society. I mean, again, all these media outlets that spend all this time on Twitter are parroting tweets and articles, and getting people to think that Twitter is much, much more important than it actually is. And it has become ground zero for cancel culture, ground zero for a lot of the weird shit we've seen in the last 5 or 6 years in this country. And it all stems from Twitter, and a lot of people on Twitter, the actual real people on Twitter, are actually the same people that were on Tumblr that were completely ignored on Tumblr, rightfully so. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this one up. It's going to be very interesting to see if this deal closes. One way or another, Twitter's toast. I mean, I think it's going to be completely discredited. And if Musk doesn't buy it, the advertisers could sue them into oblivion if it turns out that it's untrue. Their user base. We'll see what happens. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.